I was a big fan of Yandere Simulator. That is, until I found out about his past.
My new audience will learn about all the stupid cringy things I did in my youth.
You're a fucking retard, sold out. Go fucking kill yourself, dumb shit.
Despite the information about him being out there, nobody cared to look into it. Greetings, my name is Carmel Waltz. I like creating art and rambling about things that have my interest. The purpose of this video is to enlighten viewers with my anecdotal recollection of why I stopped following the development of Yandere Simulator and the creator YandereDev. Everything presented in this video is considered public knowledge. This video is also a precursor for my following 2 videos dedicated to talking about my experiences being a part of the Loveletter Discord and giving a chronological timeline of the Loveletter drama while providing my own findings when creating these videos. Before I begin to speak about these 2 projects, let me define what a yandere even is. The yandere personality archetype is a fictional character that has an infatuation with their mutual friend. Examples are Yukiko Yamagashi from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 and Yu Nagase from Future Diaries. From looking on the outside, most yanderes seem to look relatively normal. That's only the personality they want others to believe is their true nature. In reality, most yanderes are masking their true nature. The yanderes are psychopathic stalkers that are crazy in love with their crush. Yanderes will go to great lengths to win their crush's affection, even if that means they have to kill. Now imagine if you could play as one. There is an appeal for this character archetype. We have seen games, anime, where a yandere remains present in the story, yet we don't get to play as one. Majority of the time, the character archetype usually is the secondary character in these stories. Yes, there are games like YandereDev that came out prior to Yandere Simulator and feature 2 yanderes as main characters. If you consider the notion that YandereDev did not have an English translation till months after Yandere Simulator became widely popular. Plus, most games that feature yanderes as a selling point, it was basically unheard of. The closest I have personally seen of a video game allowing players to have a yandere character protagonist is Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls, where the character can play as Genocide Jack. Even then, Toko is not the main protagonist, she is the deuteragonist. Second failed to Komoro Naegi. That honestly is what attracted people to Yandere Simulator in the first place. The premise was that you, the player, would be playing as a yandere while trying to eliminate rivals. Not only was the protagonist a yandere, but given the freedom of varied elimination methods, Easter eggs, constant updates from YandereDev himself is what breathed life into his fandom. Yandere Simulator was put into a spotlight due to Let's Play YouTubers. It is understandable why this game has such a big fanbase. Due to Yandere Simulator featuring other franchises, many thought that the game was supposed to be satirical as well. Since most of the Easter eggs featured in Yandere Simulator are memes or whatever was popular at the time, like Ebola-chan, Sansayano, and so many more different Easter eggs that I'd be babbling if I were to talk about every specific Easter egg YandereDev has implemented into his game. The game takes place in a stereotypical anime high school setting. I just thought that the game was supposed to be parodying anime tropes, something I did not take seriously. It was a sandbox game where you kill students and try winning the love of your crush. That is the entire point of the game. Yandere Simulator was a meme that came and died. At least, that's what should have happened. The game's peak in popularity was around February 2016. Years following, Yandere Simulator also helped Bijou Mike and Cub Scouts become known YouTubers. Honestly, there are a surprisingly large number of Yandere Simulator fan games. It is quite fascinating that even though Yandere Simulator itself was still considered an alpha, this was before Osana was released, there are already fan-created projects being produced. A fun, free-to-play game with an interactive developer and growing community is exciting! Often, I found myself speaking about the game with some of my friends. Hell, I even made fan art of Ayano. I was a big fan of Yandere Simulator. Nevertheless, I had a lot of high hopes for the Yandere Simulator project in general. That is, until I found out about his past. My interest in the project started to dwindle when I discovered Eva X Fun by accident. I was trying to find YandereDev's Tumblr blog, but instead I stumbled upon a former volunteer's expose on YandereDev. From then on, I began reading up on what was documented about Alex. Secure to say that this man has rumored history of being a creepy pervert is an understatement. Very surprised that such a professional developer turned out to have said very misogynistic comments why he could not get a girlfriend. Through implications, Yandere Simulator had sexual intent as well. This element of YandereDev's lust can be seen through his weird obsession over Samus Aran, a character who looks eerily similar to the game's main protagonist.
Look at that. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Even though it wasn't intentional. YandereDev blamed his parents for homeschooling him, justifying the Columbine shooter's actions, so many different points that made my head spin. My perception of YandereDev began to change. In this Tumblr post, ex-volunteer of Alex Bahan, they begin to list off how hypocritical it is of YandereDev to shy away from his former alias EVXFan, despite the fact he already promoted his name on his Yandere Simulator press blog. Everything else featured in the Tumblr post above talks about how he is very open, yet fearful of his audience finding out EVXFan, due in part with how he says very politically incorrect statements. It is important to note that YandereDev's original audience was for 4chan users, which makes sense as to why the developer implemented weird features like breast sliders and panty shot currencies. Due to the game being picked up by Let's Play YouTubers, younger demographics started to follow the game. Thus, YandereDev started to shift the audience he was pandering for. He even blamed V for betraying him, that they weren't his true fans. When reviewing a lot of the things YandereDev has said, it becomes apparent that he points fingers at whom he feels like is in the wrong. YandereDev explains in the blog post that he felt saddened by the fact that V had found out about his previous alias EVXFan. Rather than focus on the project, just wanted to talk about his past.
Slowly, the focus of the thread stopped being about my current project and started being about my former self. Instead of discussing game design, game mechanics, and gameplay, the threads became exclusively about ridiculing me for who I was in the past. V no longer wished to support me or my project, even though I had spent months building a game for them. It was incredibly disheartening, especially when I had put so much effort into improving and rebuilding myself.
When Yandere Simulator got picked up by popular Let's Play YouTubers, he saw this as an opportunity to work with a new audience and a new identity.
The game got a new audience, and I got a fresh start. I continued developing Yandere Simulator, but the entire time, I was fearful that the past would repeat itself. I was worried that one day, my new audience would learn about all the stupid cringy things I did in my youth, and turn on me just as 4chan audience had.
Although I can try to understand where he is coming from when saying this, dude, you linked your private stream onto the Yandere Simulator WordPress blog, promoted it quite a few times, the Tumblr post even shows us off, so you did this to yourself. That being said, it is clear as day, YandereDev still posts on V. He has been recently found telling the board to kneel. YandereDev is a part of that board's Internet Subculture. If you've never browsed 4chan, especially V, just know that the users do not give two flying fucks about your feelings and will shit on your opinion on anything you like sucks, it was never good, while dropping a short essay on why your favorite thing sucks ass. Might even get a few KYS in there or more. Honestly, you could chum that up to the majority of the site, but I digress. This is why when I see clips like YandereDev telling a viewer to kill themselves,
Like, as long as somebody is in your party. You're a fucking retard, sold out. Go fucking kill yourself, dumb shit. You're a fucking idiot.
I can't help but think about the internet subculture he actively engages in. YandereDev has been very disrespectful towards not only his audience, but also to his volunteers and unaffiliated artists. The most noble case was his Fungirl volunteer. What happened here is that YandereDev did not credit the artist for creating Fungirl, which in turn made the creator quite mad, so she posted the concept art onto her blog so that the audience could find the original artist. Following this course of action, YandereDev took it upon himself to contact the artist of that concept art and quote,
"Hi, I noticed that you posted some concept art of Fungirl. It kinda takes away some of her mystique and makes her less of a creepy, evil entity lurking somewhere in the game's code, waiting to strike. If she's just like any other character, something that an artist draws concept art of, I won't demand that you take the art down, but I think it would help to maintain the character's allure if you didn't post the concept art.
From there on, YandereDev tried to act dumb as to what he did in this situation. It's pretty obvious why the artist posted her works onto the blog, due in part of YandereDev not properly crediting her. The man had the gall to ask her if he did something wrong, or does she want Fungirl to be removed from all future builds. After looking back, it seems that the reason for why YandereDev never credits the artist to the rightful creators is due in part of how he views the game as builds, that no credits would be given up until the game's demo is released. Even if you were to argue that YandereDev is in his own rights to do whatever he wants since it is his project, no matter if his game is still considered in beta, he should respect the people who contributed to his game. From hearing this information, it made me wonder if there was anything else put into Yandere Simulator. At the time, he had not credited some for their work. YandereDev has stolen a lot of Miku Miku dance assets from creators, which includes the gym, living room, Iona's bedroom, to the grass texture. YandereDev does not credit all the artists. As said earlier, the game is still in beta, and most of the placeholders will be replaced. Which does not make sense at all. Dude, credit your artist. It is not just assets he has stolen. YandereDev has even attempted to implement inspirations into his game. There's no issues with taking inspiration from stories that you enjoy. The problem becomes known that YandereDev takes from these inspirations word for word. It becomes apparent that a lot of his inspirations are imitations of his inspirations. In hindsight, the video analysis YandereDev did on Persona 5 never delves into anything noteworthy from a video game developer's perspective, even though the video itself states that this is meant to introduce concept ideas to his audience and have Persona as a reference material when creating Yandere Simulator.
Life is almost never seen without his book bag. The other students at school are usually carrying book bags too. It doesn't look awkward at all. In fact, it looks completely natural. I now feel much more comfortable with the idea of putting book bags on characters, but I still need to investigate the potential down.
Yes, he did mention minor gameplay aesthetics, but YandereDev does not acknowledge minor gameplay elements that I enjoyed. Being able to rent books from the school library to the bookstore. These books are to increase your character's social status, knowledge, charm, and so on. Eat a big hamburger for strength, bathe in the open hot springs for charm. Increasing these stats are crucial since the player cannot talk with certain characters without meeting a criteria first, before ranking social links. Social links serve as allowing the player to receive benefits such as follow-up. If Joker misses an attack, party members he bonded with will appear and finish the blow for him. By listening to the stories of these characters, players can receive benefits. At Persona's core, it is an RPG with social simulation mechanics. The developer always remind the player that they are a student. The game gives you pop quizzes, makes you study, has more content always with your character as a subtle reminder that you, the player, are still playing an RPG. If it ain't that, he's definitely telling you to go to sleep.
How come you can do all this other great but you can't lie the down and sleep? Take this! Ah!
It makes sense why the main protagonist carries a book bag. When YandereDev brings this up in his video, instead of listing what I've just presented, he includes these book bags for an aesthetic purpose. Quite mind-boggling that I never picked up on how flawed the analyst videos was till now. Seeing YandereDev mention the book bag from Persona 5's main protagonist without understanding the broader context of what the writers created tells me he is not considering how everything needs to tie in together from a narrative perspective and a gameplay perspective. When I was still a fan, I caught a glimpse into one of his infamous Twitch streams where YandereDev starts screaming and complaining as to why he cannot find a star piece.
This is so fucking stupid! This is the dumbest shit. Fuck, why is this happening? Why do I have to do this dumb shit? This is so stupid. What a waste of time. I've been doing this for a fucking hour. God damn it. I have such little spare fucking time to play video games. And I have to waste my fucking time, my little fucking spare time, doing this shit. This is so fucking stupid. Why? This is so fucking dumb. Who wants to fucking do this?
Bet your ass this made me have a negative perception on YandereDev way before I even found out about any of his online histories. It came across as very childish for a grown adult to be screaming at a video game. Plus, if he would have been quiet for a minute, YandereDev would have seen the star fragment falling from the sky.
Stupid! What a waste of time!
And the most famous Twitch clip of him banging his fist on the computer desk like a chimpanzee on crack due to dying at Cuphead. It gave me the idea of how he acts in his leisure time. If this is how he is when frustrated, then how could he manage a development team if YandereDev allows his emotions to get the better of him? Not only that, if YandereDev is worried about missing hours that could be spent on Yandere Simulator, then go work on your game. No one is telling YandereDev he is forced to livestream all day, but considering YandereDev would rather stream and promote his game, stream rather than working on his project, I just saw loopholes that nobody was addressing at the time. How come there were not any YouTubers calling Alex out on blatantly stealing fan art? It was in his teaser, all of the art present as black silhouettes. I even noticed that one of the characters shared a resemblance to Aisha's Dimension Winter class. Others have pointed out multiple times that YandereDev takes assets from other creators who specifically make content for Miku Miku Dance animators. Hell, he straight up stole someone's fan art of Yuasa Kazumi to use it as promotional art for Yandere-kun. Seeing so much theft from other artists with no credit given, and supposedly there was a rumored crowdfunder around the corner, although I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe YandereDev had changed since his years on Gaia Online, since those comments he had made were from a decade ago, I took everything presented with me with a grain of salt. About what he had said back then might not represent who he is as a person today, but after doing my own research, it made me believe that YandereDev is poor at communication and does not respect his volunteers and audience. Why should I give the time of day to a lazy hack who has anime boobs on his mind 24/7? Why should I support a developer who has little emotional stability and acts like a man-child? The man is wishy-washy. He only picks a stance that will benefit him in the long run. Honestly, it is apparent that YandereDev constantly outs himself as a victim, when he's really not, twisting a lot of words to make it seem like he's more innocent than he actually is. One day, these lies are going to bite him. That's what made me think if an independent creator does not respect the creation of other artists, his followers, then I shall not give him the time of day. The actions I saw of YandereDev made me believe the Yandere Simulator project was going nowhere. When coming to this conclusion, I awkwardly tried to explain this to my friend, who was very adamant about defending Yandere Simulator's creator. I explained what I found. Seeing YandereDev being childish, disrespecting others, and overall being a weird pervert made me stop following the game's development, which she unsurprisingly told me that I shouldn't believe everything said on the internet, and that it was probably trolling just trying to slander his name, despite the fact there was countless evidence of him not working on the game and being a dick to other artists. I felt alone in my thoughts at the time. The public consensus was that YandereDev is just misunderstood, and everything presented against the developer was slander. But if people were to look into it, they would have found the online footprint he had left behind and the dickish behavior he acted towards others. Despite the information about him being out there, nobody cared to look into it. I'm astonished that nowadays the census for YandereDev is now negative. As I said, everyone was very defiant of criticisms thrown at Yandere Simulator's creator. His audience did not care about what was said about him till every single commentary YouTuber and their mother started talking about the things that Yandere did it shift.
Hey, you just made it to the end of the video. Congratulations!
If you want to know when the next 2 videos about Loveletter release, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Want to see more art like presented in this video? Come follow me on Twitter at Carmel Waltz. Nevertheless, I hope you liked this video, and yours truly will be back again soon. Ciao!